are now on the vector product or the cross product. So the vector product of the two vectors, the second product of two vectors, is called the vector product or the cross product and is defined in terms of its modulus and the magnitudes of the two vectors and the sine angle between them. So for the vector product or the cross product, let's say we have here the vector A and vector B. If we will find the vector product or the cross product of the two vectors, we will just find the magnitude of both vectors, then times the sine angle between them. So this is the formula or the concept of our vector product or the cross product. Let's say we have here a unit vector J and a unit vector K. If we will find the vector product of these two unit vector, so J times K is equal to, every unit vector has a magnitude of 1 without unit, right? So the magnitude of J and K is 1. So 1 times 1 times the sine of the angle between them. So the angle between the unit vector J and unit vector K is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Therefore, 1 times 1 times the sine 90 degrees is equal to 1. And if we have unit vector, if we have the same unit vector, like we have I and I, the vector product or the cross product of the two unit vectors is 1 times 1 times the sine between the two unit vector, which is 0. Then the vector product of the two unit vector, I and I, is equal to 0. So going back to our vector product and cross product formula, let's say we have vector A and vector B. So for the vector A, we have A1I plus A2J plus A3K. And for the vector B, we have B1I plus B2J plus B3K. So to get the cross product of our two vectors, we will just simply multiply A1 to all the values of B1, B2, and B3, and A2 and A3 and so on. So A1 times B1 times the cross product of I and I plus A1, A1 B2 times I cross product J plus A1 B3 times I cross K plus A2 B1 J cross I plus A2, B2, J cross J, plus A2, B3, J cross K. Plus A3, B1, times K cross I, plus A3, B2, times cross product of K and J, and A3, B3, times the cross product of K and K. So sabi ko kanina, if the cross product of J and K is equal to 1, and the cross product of same unit vector, I and I, is equal to 0. So, ibig sabihin, this one, and this one is equal to 0. But before we proceed, kapag ang cross product natin is naka-order from the from alphabetical, like J times K, ang cross product niya would give a value of I. If the cross product of I and K will give the value of J. And if the cross product of I and J will give the value of K. Pero, kung ang nakalagay is hindi naka-order yung ating alphabetical, like K times I, the value will give you negative J. So, para malaman na negative or positive, dapat yung pag-cross product natin is naka-alphabetical. Like I times J and I times K. Pero kung K times I, K times J, and J times I, ibig sabihin negative ang ibibigay niyang vector, unit vector. So if we have the cross product of K and I, it will give you a unit vector J, negative J. And if we have the cross product of K and J, it will give you negative I. And if we have the cross product of J and I, it will give you a negative K. And to simplify, so the cross product of A and B is equal to, so A1 and B1, A1, B1 times, so the cross product of A and J is equal to positive K plus the cross product of I and K for A1 and B3 is equal to positive J. And for the cross product of J and I, it will give you a negative value of K. Therefore, for the A2, B1, we have A2, B1 minus negative A2, B1, K. And for our A2, B3, the cross product of J and K is positive I. So A2, B3 is equal to times I. And the sign for our A3B1, we have the cross product of K and I. That will give you a negative J. So it means negative for A3B1 J. And for our last, the A3B2, times the cross product of K and J will give you a negative I. So it means minus A3B2 I. So to simplify again, we have same terms for the I, J, and K. We just simplify it. So the value of our cross product of vector A and B is equal to, for our I, we have A2, B3 and negative A3, B2. Therefore, A2, B3 minus A3, B2 times I. Plus the J, same terms of J, A1, B3 and negative A3, B1. So therefore, A1, B3 minus A3, B1 times J. Plus the K terms, A1, B1, A1, B2. This is A1, B2. I'm sorry. So A1, B2 and negative A2, B1. So A1, B2 minus A2, B1, K. And that's how you will get the vector product of a two vectors in the form of xj, yj, and xi, yj, and zk. If you want to get the magnitude of the two vectors, just simply use the scalar product, then using the relationship a dot b is equal to a1 b1 plus a2 b2 then a3 b3. So yung makukuha nating vector product ng ating dalawang vectors is in the form of xi plus yj and zk. So, yan.